Alrighty, my friends, welcome back to 1960. Today we're going to make a Twinkie cake. So it's kind of one of those hack recipes. Did you know they used to do it all the way back in the 1960s? Well, here we go. We're going to start with one cake mix. Now you want a standard size cake mix. It can be, Betty Crocker, Duncan Hines, whatever. Betty Crocker was on sale, so guess what I got? That's right. So we're going to start with one cake mix. You want to use the whole thing. Sometimes, these recipes will call for like a half of a cake mix. It's like, okay, so now what are you supposed to do with the other half? Right? I always think of something. All right, so let's get this cake mix on in here. Like so. Now to this, we are going to add 4 eggs. 4 eggs. So we're not following the recipe on the box. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to also add into this 1 cup of melted butter, but you want it melted, but you want it cooled. 1 whole cup. This is going to be buttery. I didn't know Twinkies were so buttery, but I guess they say they are. And 1 1/4 cup of milk. Now, it suggests that you use 1 or 2% milk. Not sure why, but I'm going with what it says. So here we go. So here's kind of a mystery ingredient that I wasn't expecting. Dream Whip. Do you remember this? Dream Whip. I think this has been around since before Cool Whip. Not sure. I think this was around since like 1957-ish. But anyway, it's on the idea of like a Cool Whip, except it's a powdered form. Now it says to take 1 packet and add it in dry. You're not going to make it into Dream Whip. You're going to just add in 1 packet dry. So there we go. I guess it's going to make it a dreamy Twinkie, right? Just saying. Alrighty. Now we're going to mix this. It says it's probably going to take about 2 minutes because you want it really mixed well. Next, we need 2 8x8 square pans. Not sure why it says square, but we're going with what it says. And we're going to take half the batter and put it into each of these. And it says to either grease or butter them very well. So I did that ahead of time. So this is an interesting texture to this cake mix. It's very different. It's not like it came like right out of the box. So I'm going to try to do these evenly. And then you're supposed to kind of, just spread them out evenly. So let me do that and get them into the oven. We're going to bake these for about 30 minutes at 350 degrees. Now, while the cake is out of the oven cooling, it says to let it cool for about a half an hour. Take a small saucepan, add 1 cup of whole milk, and 5 tablespoons of sifted flour. We're going to mix these together. We're going to heat these up on the stove, and you want to keep stirring it because it will stick, but you want it to get nice and thick. It's going to take a few minutes. So I'm going to get this onto the stove, and then we need to let this cool. So off to the stove to thicken our flour or our milk or whatever it is we're doing next. Alrighty, on to the best part of those Twinkies. We're going to take 1/2 cup of butter, 1/2 cup of regular, well, I guess it's not regular, I think there's only one kind of Crisco, but actually I think they do have a buttered Crisco, now that I think of it now, but I could be wrong. And 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 1 cup of granulated regular sugar, and that is regular. So now we're going to beat this up until it gets all nice and fluffy, so it's probably going to take about 2 minutes. We have that all blended together and it's nice and fluffy. Now we're going to add in the milk and flour that we cooked on the stove, and it is all cooled down. You need to make sure this is really cooled down because otherwise it's going to like melt the butter in the Crisco, I think. I think that's the whole idea behind it. Now we're going to whip this together for about another 2 minutes until it gets all light and fluffy together. Alrighty now, our cakes have cooled down and our Twinkie filling is ready. So now we're going to take 1 cake and we're going to take this entire filling and we're going to put it all on top of this 1 cake. Unlike the Twinkies that you get now, I think the new company that bought Twinkies, I think that that they are not using as much filling as as they used to back in, you know, the olden days. You know what I'm talking about. So yeah, this recipe's from the 60s, so they know how much filling's supposed to be in here. This is gonna be good. I have a feeling. Do you guys like Twinkies? Alrighty, and for the next step, we're gonna take, remember we made 2 cakes, this one's cooled now too. We're gonna take this cake and we're going to carefully place it, whoops, uh-oh, did you see that? We're gonna put that back inside there, a little Twinkie filling. Okay, there we go. And we are going to carefully place this right on top, just like so. Looks like one big Twinkie, right? Pretty delicious. And now it says to dust it with confectionery sugar. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Now all that's left is to slice and dice, you know, and do the tasty taste. I am hoping Meg's gonna love this. She does, I think she likes Twinkies. I'm pretty sure of it. You know, I haven't had a Twinkie in so long. I hope I remember what it tastes like so that I can remember if this actually tastes like a Twinkie, right? I'm pretty sure I'll remember. Alrighty, time to cut up a couple of pieces and tasty taste time. Doesn't this look gorgeous, my friends? Look, would you look at, I gotta show you this. I gotta show you. Look at that. Is that amazing? Alrighty, now it's time to do a little slicing up here. So, you know, it says like 9 portions, but I mean, that would be big pieces. I'm just saying. So I'm gonna make them a little smaller because, you know, we can always go back for seconds, but look at that. That's a big old Twinkie if I ever saw one, just saying. Let me cut up 2 pieces so that Megan and I can each have one. And we're gonna do a good old tasty taste. I think this is gonna be amazing. Amazing, amazing. It sure feels like the texture of like a Twinkie. It's got the twink going on. So look at this. Let me show you the cake in the middle. Look. Does that look like a big old Twinkie to you? Sure does to me. Alrighty, I am thinking it's time for a tasty taste. This looks so delicious. I hope Meg thinks so. What do you guys think? So this is from 1960. So apparently they were doing hacks even back then. It looks like a Twinkie. It looks like a big old Twinkie. Do you like Twinkies? I thought you did. I couldn't remember, but because we haven't had Twinkies in forever. So here we go. Time to twink it up.
She said twink it up.
Twink it up, baby.
Okay. Oh. Oh.
I think that this is more tasting like the original Twinkie recipe. So, before they sold the company and everything.
At first, I'm like, that's a lot more gourmet than a Twinkie. But the aftertaste, whatever goes on in Twinkin', it's got the aftertaste of.
It's got the twink.
It's weird.
It's much more like the original Twinkies though, because like the new ones, they're so cheap on the cream. Except where the older ones used to have like a lot of cream filling.
It's not a Twinkie if it's not cream filled.
I know, but the new ones, the new owners, you know, they got cheap on it.
That's what I'm saying. What the hell?
This has definitely got the Twinkie going on, guys. Yep.
Fill her up.
That's because I'm gonna.